right, everyone, Joe, Mike, and Brandon back, buildassetsonline.com. We have such a special story today. Brandon is one of our newer students and really has a fantastic story to tell. So Brandon entered the world of high-ticket dropshipping around 8-9 months ago. Innocent, excited, soft and supple, perhaps a little bit naive about how it all worked. He chose his first dropshipping mentor or parent who, despite their best intentions, snipped and cut away any chance he had of earning money in the first 7 months by having him go all in on performance max campaigns. So he came to us hardened, calloused, a little jaded, and we helped him heal and stretch his dollars and ad spend back to profitability. And now he's had his first 50K month and he's experiencing these glorious days where he's hitting his first, today he's hit over 20K. So without further ado, this is Brandon's story.
AKA Big Cheddar, what's going on, man?
What's good, everybody? Glad to be here. I knew I'd be here someday. Yeah.
Did that intro kind of sum it up well?
Oh, that was beautiful. That was a wonderful intro. I appreciate it.
I think it's the first time Joe's ever written an intro. I thought it was pretty good. A lot of
thought out. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's wait a little bit for people to join in because I don't want them to, come in right during the juicy bits. So I guess why don't you just give us some brief background, like where you live in. Also, I've just learned that Brandon, you're 20 years old. Is that right? Just turned 20.
So, May 28th was my birthday, so that's like 5 days ago or so.
Damn. How much sales you do on your birthday?
On my birthday, I think I had a pretty good day. I think I did 10K that day, if I'm not mistaken. It was actually a great day.
There you go. What better gift to give than the gift of 5 figures? But one thing I'm curious about is, okay, so you found us this year. You were 19. Before that, and we'll get into the full story, you were doing dropshipping even last year. So I guess you were 18. Like, how old were you when you started dropshipping?
No. I started dropshipping when I was like low ticket dropshipping. I started when I was 18, probably even 17. I just started, I actually have my first product in my closet back there. It's a little capybara, little toy. I was like, yep, I'm going to film this product. I'm going to be rich and everything's going to work out. And that, failed miserably. And of course, there's a lot more, products that I tried and failed with low ticket dropshipping, and it really just never went anywhere. As far as high ticket dropshipping, I actually stumbled upon a guy, I'm not going to say his name, right around like June, paid for his Discord and never really took it anywhere. And then from June to like September, I picked up window washing. So I would go door to door, knock on somebody's door. I remember my first door was terrifying. I won't go too deep into that, but did that from like June to September. Actually saw some success, made a bunch of sales, had a bunch of fun, and then bought this other guy's course in September 28th, actually. So
can I pause you? Actually, so what made you want to do window washing? Like, how did
So I saw this YouTube video on my phone. I was in my bed. That's like right here in my bed. Broke as a joke, kind of like, scrolling through YouTube shorts like everyone does. And I saw this guy. I'm not sure if you know him. His name's Oliver Lester. And he does like door-to-door window washing. He teaches people. I didn't buy his course or nothing. I kind of just riffed off what he's already doing. And then just decided to go do it for myself. And, I saw some good success there. And I still have the equipment too. It's in my truck. But
yeah, it's always interesting to hear like people's journey to making money on their own, making money online, in this day and age, because, you're 10 years younger than me. You're even, younger compared to Joe. And it's like, so you must have been exposed to dropshipping from like a very young age.
Well, what I find interesting is like, I've met a couple people like you. You're not in college, I guess, right?
Hell no. No.
So I met a couple people your age. They're always super skinny and they have really deep voice. They have deep voices as well.
Am I skinny?
No, but so like I guess what made you even, I guess, did you graduate high school?
I barely did. Yeah, I was one of the COVID graduates. I
Oh,
graduated in 2022. My whole senior year, I didn't do a single piece of homework, and still graduated somehow. I still got the same piece of paper as everyone else that actually tried. But yeah, that's where it went.
so you had a bad case of senioritis. No, but
I guess.
so like, at what point did you decide I'm not going to go to college? I'm gonna, pursue all this other stuff. Were you in high school? Was it because of COVID? Was there like a singular event?
Not really a singular event. So my first ever like entrepreneurial journey or like business was auto detailing. So right out of high school, I was like, well, I need a truck. So I got all my graduation money, which was like $3,000, and I put it as a down payment for like a truck. It's like a just basic Chevy. Um, got the truck, got all the detailing parts, and I had no customers, and I had to, very quickly figure out how to make money because I was already immediately in the hole right out of high school. And I actually made that work surprisingly. I think my first ever customer was from Instagram. I had like a little Instagram page, had like 1,000 followers. Was posting, the cringy reels, but they were working, so I just kept doing it. I probably saved about like $2,000 within like a month or two. Nothing very significant. Then I put it right into Google Ads, just doing like basic search, ads, and grew that to like 5K a month. And then I just kind of stopped because I felt like a slave. And that actually at that point I found dropshipping right after detailing, and that's when I started. Right after high school, like 6 months after.
Gotcha. So you were kind of one of the people that never did well in school, but it seems like you have, I don't know, a knack for doing entrepreneurial things.
Yeah,
It's
that's
very,
true.
I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like our cousin. If you ever saw us interview him, Joe particularly, one fateful night at a family dinner, encouraged him not to go to college and caused a huge uproar amongst the family. And he did go to college, but it sparked him on a journey to where he is now. But anyway, I guess so. Why don't we dive into kind of your first stage of dropshipping, right? So you said you got a different course back in last year, 2023, and you kind of struggled with it, struggled with dropshipping really until we first talked and you got on board with what we were doing, and that was a month or two ago. So take us through like those 7 months of failure.
Oh, it's just rough to think about because it was so terrible. So I would say my first ever high ticket dropshipping store was right around June when I bought that, initial guy's course. I'll say it because I don't think anyone will ever do it. The business name was Bounce and Bowls. It was going to be a mechanical bull and bounce house niche. I was going to sell to people that wanted to rent them out and do whatever. That went nowhere because I was going in totally blind. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And it just failed. It just immediately failed. It never really went anywhere. But if I, tried it again now, I could probably make it work. But that was my first ever high ticket drop shipping store. And I kind of just stopped that. And then September came around, bought this guy's course. I would say right around December, I started actually working on it, like building my website, making sure it looks good. What I thought was good back then, it was actually like the worst looking website ever. Totally janky. I even had a supplier call me because I, listed their products without even calling them. And they threatened me over the phone. They threatened me over the phone saying like, hey, take it down or we're going to send you like I don't know what it was, but we're going to make you take it down. And then right around, so actually it was January 1st, I made my first ever sale, not from ads. It was from a free listing. And it was like my angriest customer ever because my product page wasn't clear. Everything was just out of place. It was just terrible. So they bought from me. It took about a month to ship out. And when they got the product, it was damaged. I didn't know what to do. So I went to the supplier. I said, "Hey, it's damaged." They sent him a new one. That one was damaged, and then they sent him a new one, and that was like 2 or so months later. And then I got a really bad review on my website. I just took it down because I could, you could take reviews down with Judge.me. I just took it down, out of sight, out of mind. And then, so I would say let's go back to September to May 1st. I hadn't made a single sale with ads, not a single sale. And I was running PMax from January 1st to May 1st. Not till like May 1st, probably when I joined, so like April, like midway through April. Spent like $2,000 on PMax, saw like 0 sales. I was like, I guess I'll just let it run and I'll give it time. I guess it needs time to make sales.
Should we clarify what pmax is? Because I feel like some people might not exactly know. Do you want me to explain it, Mike, or you want to explain it?
You could explain it, Joe.
All right. So basically, pmax is it's a type of Google ad campaign where you set your cost per acquisition. You can't really set a cost per click unless you go a roundabout way to do it. So you set your cost per acquisition, which you can determine to be, it's determined at the account level. So you could determine it to be like a sale, which is what you would do in this case. You probably wouldn't want to do it with like an add to cart or anything that's a vanity metric. And so in theory, what happens, Google goes out and serves your ads in all of these different spots. So it takes its whole ad inventory, which pretty vast, which should be Gmail, display ads, just anywhere you could think of where Google serves ads, not only search, and we'll basically try to find through all that, through AI testing, a way to make you sales. But you can't really, you could define some search themes, but you can't really define like specifically like with a text ad, what keywords you want to bid on and things like that. So it's people call it the black box of Google advertising because there's really minimal reporting as well. So yeah, you're really just putting all your trust in Google, letting them do whatever, and that's about it. So you were throwing money into that, and it wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah, I probably spent about $2,000 on PMax, and that was just for like one brand or like a couple brands. Mm-hmm. I would test a brand on PMax, spend like $300, go to the next brand, and then go to the next brand, and like it was just all terrible. It was just disgusting.
I would say, or what?
What'd you say?
Were you getting like inquiries doing that, or what?
I was getting add to carts and like some calls here and there, but like no sales, no actual buying intent from customers.
Who told you to do it like that? Because that, to me, I mean, that doesn't seem like even a good way to do PMax if you're going to do it. Not that you should do it, but who were you told to test brands on it for that amount of money?
Yeah.
Okay.
Huh. That's crazy, actually, because
PMax
usually
I think I was at like $25 to $30 a day, or probably.
And how many clicks is that?
I don't even remember, to be honest. Very little.
Because that makes absolutely zero sense, because if you're going to get a PMax campaign to run successfully, like you actually have to spend a good amount of money, get a good amount of clicks, and actually get the conversion that you're looking to get. So if you're just dumping money, $300, and then you're moving on to the next thing for $300, like that makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, I had no idea what I was doing. Like I had zero clue what I was doing at all. Getting customer call. I'll just let it. I'll call him back. I recognize
you got to call him back. But
anyways, I was just dumping money into PMax. Nothing really happened. And throughout this time, I was just losing money. Like I don't have like a job. I don't go to like O'Reilly's and like change tires or like go to the supermarket. Like I've never had a job other than like high school. I worked at Subway in high school, and I was like the best sandwich maker ever. Everyone loved me. But it was just terrible. It was trash. So during this time, I'm washing windows, going door to door, hating my life. It was honestly terrible. It was like the worst time of my life, from like September to April. It was just terrible. I don't even want to think about it.
It was terrible because of, I guess you're doing all this work washing windows, and then you're watching it evaporate into the PMax black box.
Yep. So I would spend about like 8 hours a day knocking doors in the gruesome heat. Maybe get like a sale or two, which is like $500. Put it right back into pmax, and see it disappear. So
I guess what gave you the mental fortitude to keep doing that versus saying, "Hey, I'm washing these windows. I'm making $500. Why don't I just, wash some windows each day and take it easy?"
There's a point when you're washing windows where it's not very fun anymore, because it's like a blue collar job. It's very, very tiresome. You're out there knocking doors, you're getting doors slammed in your face, people telling you leave my lawn or I'm going to call the police. I had this one lady scream at me like so loud in my face. I like it's terrible. It's a terrible job to have, but like it makes you money sometimes, so it's great on that end. But I just had faith. I was getting more suppliers, putting it right into pmax and losing it. And at this time, just making my website better. I knew it would pay off eventually, so I was just doing all the little things. And ads are my big.
How did you know it would pay off eventually?
I didn't. I just kind of guessed. I just was like, I think this will work, because I saw other people, they had a lot of success, and they're doing 100K a month, right around there, and I just kind of had faith that I'd be there someday. So that's what made me keep going.
Yeah. So I guess fast forward to, we spoke in April.
Yeah, like April 8th or 9th, something like that.
Yeah, and then when you had told me the situation that you were, washing all these windows and going door to door and doing PMAX, and I saw your site, it wasn't bad. I instantly knew that you'd be someone that would pretty quickly have success, because number one, to have the drive and the motivation to do door to door sales, like you're already going to be good at this. One of the few reasons people fail at doing this is like they're scared of calling suppliers, like all these little stupid mental hurdles. But that's nothing compared to what you've already done. And then, obviously, using Performance Max for high ticket dropshipping products is kind of ridiculous, because it defeats the whole purpose of what we're trying to do, which is get in brands that have existing demand and then just show those brands for people that are already searching for that. So you need that layer of like, hey, I'm telling Google what to show me for. And like, I don't care about the algorithm. I don't care about, all these things, because if someone's searching Kohler 72-inch freestanding tub and you show them a Kohler 72-inch freestanding tub, I don't need an algorithm to optimize, who sees that ad. If someone searches that, I show them that, they're going to buy. So you kind of get into the course, the coaching, and then that first month, what goes on?
First month, this is when I didn't have my best supplier. So like April 9th to like, I would say May 1st-ish. I think I did 10K in sales with that one brand. I know. And yeah, I was getting a lot of good traffic. I was actually getting add to carts, and the ads were actually working with the strategy you guys taught me. And yeah, everything was just kind of working out compared to me when I was using pmax. Things were actually starting to move. And yeah, it was going great. Or it still is going great. But yeah, it started working out.
And then you kind of, I guess, found another supplier that you were able to get in with, and that really took your sales to a whole new level, right?
Yeah, I got the supplier. So initially when I built my store, I kind of stole all of my competitor suppliers. It was just like this one competitor. I took like literally all their brands except for this one brand. I was like, no one's going to buy this. Like, this is a weird product. Like, who wants this? So it was in front of my face ever since I started the store. And like right around May, I was just like, why don't I just call these guys up and get them on my store? And it was actually really easy. They got me, they sent me a price list the same day. I gave them a call. And yeah, I honestly slacked on it. Like I got them on my store like May, or actually I got the agreement May 3rd. I waited a couple days to actually put them on my store. And I started running ads for them. I put them into my ad account May 14th. Yeah, my phone up, like customers are calling me so much.
Phone's ringing off the hook, man.
Do you want to pick it
I
up
know
real
this
quick?
guy's trying to.
We could talk about something else while you pick it up if you want.
It's fine. I'll just
And
let them scream
then
at me after
resume.
this. I'll just let them scream at me after.
It's a screamer?
Anyways, yeah. So right around May 14th, I put them in, and I think it was either the same day or the day after I got a sale for 2 of these products, which was like 5.7K or somewhere around there. And I sent it to Mike, and then I recorded the audio. I sent to you guys, and it was like me celebrating or something like that. And then yeah, I let that run for about 3 days until I raised the budget to like I think it was $125 a day or somewhere around there. And I've been there ever since. It's just continued to roll. So
You said $100 a day?
Yeah.
Yeah, so $100 a day, 3,000 in ads a month, and then you got what was it, like 50K? What would you do last month?
right around 54 or 55K.
Yeah, so you're almost.
And that was in 15 days. That wasn't in like a month.
Oh, okay.
It was crazy.
I was gonna say 33K to 55K. That's like close to a 20x return on ad spend, but you're saying it's probably better than that because you weren't spending $100 a day all month.
Oh yeah, it's June 4th, and I'm at like I'll give you the exact number. I think I'm at like 30-something K in sales. Let me pull it up on my dashboard. Month to date. I'm at 36.
Anyway, the point is that the ads are quite profitable. Are you doing any text ads right now, or is it just
I'm just doing one text ad for that one product, and it's gotten me 1 conversion so far.
Yeah, we'll have to look at that because that's probably another thing you should be doing right away. But yeah, I mean, often, we try to tell people that a lot of times they're just one good supplier away from like literally life-changing type results. Like I don't like using that language because I feel like it's kind of gimmicky, but I mean, it can be life-changing to go from, either you're making 0 or you're making, 1,000, 2,000 a month with your store. And then all of a sudden you're making 6K profit, 10K profit. And that's like regular salary type numbers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, my phone is literally blowing up. This guy wants a quote.
All right, take the call. You mute yourself. I want to. This is what happens when you're when you're in it like Brandon. He's getting live customer calls right on the show. I'm not going to impede on his ability to make money here, but I did something I want to add, Mike, because we're talking about the PMax campaigns. I think most people at this point know what happened with Google recently with their AI scandals in the search results. One of the most popular one being someone searching like, how many rocks should I eat in a day? And Google's like, you should eat 3 rocks for like the maximum nutrition or whatever. So the point being, their AI search results were all funky, and it's it made like some major headlines. So it kind of makes me think like, if their AI search results are all funky, what's going on with the PMax? Is that on point? Is Google's AI on point?
It's hard to get reporting out of it is what's even more concerning, because to have a product which Google has, Performance Max, that if I'm going to again sell a bathtub, it's going to show me on Gmail, it's going to show me on the display network, it's going to show me in search, shopping, everywhere. I want to at least see where I'm being placed, what type of searches I'm getting, and have some idea of what's going on. But in reality, they make it very hard to do that, and they're kind of just throw you into like we say, it's a black box. So you're spending money, you don't even know where the money is going, and that's why it's really hard to get behind it, because I always feel like whatever Google does with their algorithm, I can do better with just manual CPC.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when you're. And look, I actually want to say something else. I was just thinking about this just now. I think Facebook also has a little bit of an issue. I was looking at so we recently, this was for Build Assets Online. We recently did like a lead gen campaign on Facebook where people were filling out like the form to get like basically a report we were doing. And I'm just looking back at some of those people in our email thing, and none of those people like ever open any emails. So my point being is like, I feel like with these AI tools, I guess I could see like, it must be pretty important to get someone to make a purchase. Because if they're not making a
AI for purchases.
Yeah. I feel like you have to get for some like a lead gen form or anything like that. I feel like you can't do, because I feel like it has to be people that are making purchases. Otherwise, like, you don't know what you're getting.
Yeah, it could very well be a lot of bot traffic happening. Who knows what it is? And yeah, I think the progression of like showing you're developing AI and showing you're developing all these advanced things for these big publicly traded companies is really important to their stock price. So they want to like push it and act like it's something they really have developed. But the truth is we have no idea. So really, yeah, you have to look at the bottom line of, I'm putting money in. Am I getting sales and money out? Otherwise,
yeah. And it has to be done the way he described. He did it. You can't do it like that. It has to be done with purchases, and you have to be, because there's a certain type of person. They probably have a certain type of activity and user avatar that shows that they're going to make a purchase. So if it's anything other than that, and you're not spending the money to find those people, then I just don't think it's going to be good.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, we got some people in the live stream right now. We got some questions coming in. So leave us a thumbs up, leave us a comment. That way more people can see this and, boost the views, because right now nobody cares about us. We're just in our mom's basement here. So hopefully, one day we can get out. But let's answer a couple questions. Brandon is taking a sales call right now. His line is blowing up. He's getting too much traffic. He's getting too many sales. He's smiling because he's making big cheddar. Question for Martin here. I got a question for you guys. How important are reviews in getting your first initial sales? What I'll say is people buy products all the time from us that don't have any reviews. But what you can do is, if you have a supplier and they have their own website and they're selling their own products, you back?
Yeah. Oh god.
Make a sale, bud?
I had like 5 customers call me right now, and I only got to talk to one because next to you was actually funny.
This is what happens. You're basking in the glow of
and I got an email just now. I got 2 emails actually. God, yeah.
Anyway, sorry, Martin. You can make sales without reviews for sure. But if you have a supplier that has their own website and they have reviews on their products, it's okay to ask them, hey, I'm listing your products, whatever. Can I use these reviews for your products? And you can import those those reviews onto your website, and now you have reviews. So that's one way you can go about it. Another question he has: do you guys recommend paying off debt before getting started? I'm in like $30K worth of student loan debt. What's your answer, Joe?
Well, I think, that's ideal, but I think it's going to depend on if you do get started. Like, do you have any money coming in? Like, if you get started and you get a chargeback, like, do you have kids? I would say if you're single and or like living at home or with your parents rather, nothing else going on, and you only have 30K in debt, and you have like income that supersedes that, I would say you don't have to wait to pay that off. That's something I would risk. But if you have kids and you're drowning in living paycheck to paycheck, then probably not the best idea.
You got to give the answer like Dave Ramsey, Joe.
Dave Ramsey would definitely say no.
Brandon, do you know who Dave Ramsey is?
That guy's a boomer. I don't listen to his thing today. I hate that guy.
Screw it.
Get out there. I feel like he speaks to the general public, and I don't know. I just don't really agree with what he says.
I mean, for sure, he says to use a debit card. You don't think he's running business expenses through credit cards?
Yeah, he's getting juicy cashback points.
Do you think he's debiting everything?
Well, he's morally opposed to cashback because he feels that it's basically funded through, and we talked to Mile Method about this. The cashback is basically funded through other people that pay interest.
Did Mile Method say that?
Yeah, because I asked him how it's possible.
Oh yeah, well I guess his answer was that the majority of people screw up And that's how the credit card companies make money. So that's why they can afford to give you such a product. But yeah, you get your cash back, but you lose your soul.
Well, why don't we continue where we left off before he picked up the phone? Because
I guess where do we even leave off? We left off on the fact that he got a new brand and he's getting a bunch of sales, and then his phone just started ringing off the hook. Was there something we left off at?
I think we were right there.
Well, actually, anyway, before we get started, we're 30 minutes in. If you want to learn how to build a store like Brandon did and generate an online business portfolio that could be worth over $1 million, go to buildassetsonline.com/class. Free online web course. It shows you how to do this. So check that out. Brandon, you got to silence your phone or something, big dog.
Yeah, I'm getting a bunch of calls. I don't know why.
Do you have your ringer on when you get the chings?
No. I just get surprised. I'm like, oh, there's another sale. Awesome. I think I just made another sale.
Dude, you're in the trenches. Anyway, so what do we want to talk about, Joe? You wanted to pick up where we left off, but I guess we're seeing it. This is just.
Well, so I want to talk about what was the experience like with us versus the other program that you were in. Like, obviously, you've had way more success following our stuff, but I guess I'm just talking with, the day to day, and I guess how you felt about it.
So I actually didn't go through the entire BOW program. When I came in, I already had like the concept of a website and how to make it look nice, how to build an offer. But you guys did help me with a lot of other small things, like such as I was doing $100 off pop-up. Might change it to 5%, and that actually helped me a lot. I'm getting a lot of conversions based on that. But I would say the main comparison is mainly the ads. So I actually learned how to run ads.
You did miss out on a few details from earlier in the course. I think you skipped. One being a CPA.
Yeah, that's true. Wait,
what?
Wait, what do you mean? Can you say? Wait, what are you talking about?
No. Well, we were talking the other day, and you were asking me something, and I was saying, don't you have you're like, I don't have a CPA yet. Whereas in the program, that's one of your first steps. But
well, maybe you can go door to door, knock on all the accountant offices, see which one is the best.
Well, what are your aspirations? So obviously, you really have some positive momentum with this store. What are you looking to do in the next couple years, 5 years, 10 years?
I was thinking about this the other day. I just talking about my 5-year plan. I would say in 5 years, I'd still like to be high ticket dropshipping, because it's just what I know the most right now. I would like to sell this store maybe in like the next 2 or so years after it's gotten to a decent size. But who knows? We'll see. I might just keep the store like you guys have. You guys kept your store for like, I don't know, 6 or so years. I really don't know yet.
Well, we did sell many other stores along the way.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good to have a number of stores that you can sell potentially. I found that when I was younger, it felt a bit fake to like have a 5-year plan, because I really didn't know where I was going to be in 5 years, or like what I actually would want in 5 years at such a young age. Like I would at 19, 20, I was sophomore or junior in college.
You planning on going to Thailand or anything?
No. Who? Him?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, I'm scared to go out of the United States. I was looking to move to Arizona though, like by the end of summer, and just get a Tesla, and that's pretty much it. That's what I'm looking for.
Well, that's not too bad. Those are some good aspirations. Why are you scared to go outside the country?
I like having both of my kidneys. I don't know if I would, sacrifice one of them.
Well, yeah. Honestly,
if I
that's why
went-
I'm scared to go to South America.
yeah,
I
I don't
really
trust
love.
I don't trust those people. All
What
of,
about like
there's
Europe?
probably some that are great, but I want to go to Germany actually. I have a couple relatives in Germany, so I might go there. I don't know.
Of all the places, you might get stay.
Hamburg. I want to go to Hamburg.
All right, well, there
I
you
don't
go.
know
That's part of the 5-year plan.
You might have offended some of our viewers with that with that kind of talk. So that's not endorsed by
Me or him?
No, him. Well,
What did I say?
both of you actually. Both of you actually.
He didn't say anything negative. He said he wants to go to Germany.
He said that if he leaves the country, they're going to harvest his kidneys.
Well, that was a general shot at everybody in the world outside of America. So.
I'm saying that
I mean, that's definitely a general fear. Like Thailand though is generally quite safe. The only thing I was worried about in Thailand was like going to jail, because they have no due process or anything. So if you go to jail, you don't know when you're going to get out, and it's like you can't make a phone call or anything like that. So people would have no idea where you are, and that's happened. So well, we were friends with these Australians, and they went to the Australian embassy because their bike got stolen, and there was like a guy there, I guess in like a cell that had been locked away for weeks or something, and he's like, please, like, call my family, tell them I'm alive. So yeah, that's why I was scared to get too rowdy in Thailand and do anything like that. But otherwise, yeah, generally very friendly and safe. But yeah, I mean, Europe.
I felt good. I felt good in South America. I went to Costa Rica. It was nice.
That what you did there was crazier than anything I'd ever do.
What?
You were staying in like remote locations, right? Like they were like.
Well, yeah. I mean the insects were not great, but the people were nice. I didn't really have any fears of anything like that. Yeah. Although my friend did get kidnapped in Mexico, but that's he got arrested like he was like in a resort, and he was like drinking, and he like stepped like slightly outside, and like cops pulled up and arrested him, and then basically took all his money and made him like walk back like super drunk.
Yeah, actually, not to get too into the weeds here, but this woman at the dog park was telling a story about how her nephew was in Mexico, and the same thing happened. He got like taken outside the resort, and then like the cops came up to him, and he like booked it, and he ran into like a swamp, and got through like crocodile infested waters, and basically came out all like screwed up, and they took him to the hospital, and they had no idea where he was. But yeah, so that's why you should leave the country, Brandon. There's a lot of fun experiences to be had.
I leave the country every year. I go to Mexico, but not like the land. I go fishing off the coast of Mexico, catch some bluefin. Actually, I have a trip coming up on the 17th.
Oh yeah, because you live in California, is that right?
Yeah.
How far away are you from the border?
It's like a 2-hour drive from my house.
What's your exact address, Brandon?
I'll type it in the chat. You can go to my house.
Anyway, let's get to this other question here. Matthew said, how does the call usually go when it comes to calling suppliers? Any tips that have helped you to close? Me and my friend are all set up and have hundreds of suppliers ready to call next month. Bao Gang from the UK.
Wow.
So I guess I'll let Brandon answer one part of the question, but what I'll say is if you are in the UK and you're doing a UK store, generally most UK people just email the suppliers. I think they're a bit cheeky over there. They don't like answering the phone. Is that right?
Yeah. My first like 40 suppliers were all from emails. So I emailed all 40 of them, and they were all trash. So I would say calling them would be most important, because you can actually get a connection if not like the CEO, but if someone important answers the phone, you can actually talk to them and give them the rundown of your store. Be like, hey, it's not our first rodeo. We know what we're doing. We're not like every other person that gives you a call. We're actually going to get you results. And
Let's
you can't
dive into
really do
that.
that with email.
Let's dive into that. So is that what you say? We're not like everybody else. We're going to get you results.
I say that now. So if I call a big old company that has a bunch of layers and it's like, oh, it's just taking forever, and actually talk to the right person, like, hey, like, this is taking way too long. We could have had your products on Google by tonight and or like by tomorrow, tonight, tomorrow, whatever, and actually start getting sales, because I know your product sells really well based off this, and this, and here's how we're going to do this, and this, and produce these results. Actually give them a plan or a layout of what you're going to do, rather than being like, hey, like, we got this store, it looks nice, would you like to be on it, or can we get you on it? How does that sound? Like, you're leaving it up to them, rather than giving them why they should be lucky to be on our store. Kind of like that.
For sure. So what's for somebody that maybe doesn't have a lot of results, how would you recommend they lay out like a plan? Like, how do they do
just
that?
fake it.
There you go.
I mean,
honestly, we've talked about this before. Calling suppliers, like, it does come down to confidence, and no matter what you say to them, I'm not saying to like flat out lie, but the truth is, no matter what you say to them, once you get in the door, it doesn't really matter. They're not going to be like, hey, remember you said you'd get us 5 sales by tonight, like, where is it? It's really just getting through the door, and then once you're through, they kind of don't care about you like that. Like, they're not checking up on you. It really, you got to say whatever you have to say to get through that initial barrier. But yeah, I agree. When you kind of approach it like, hey, like, how do I get your shit onto our site? And it's like not even a question.
Yeah.
Usually it goes well. What's going on? Sales?
Yeah. No, I'm just getting charged for all these products that are getting shipped out.
Oh no, the money's running out.
It's just going away. Oh my god, that's a lot.
Have you
Anyways,
going door to door, cleaning windows.
Yeah, but you just have to have like a lot of confidence when you're calling a supplier. Yeah, like I said in the beginning, I just would email them the same script, and I would get all the shitty ones, and like they would just go nowhere. I would really take the time and practice calling like a few of the crappy ones first, and like getting that confidence, and then start calling the bigger ones. I even recently did like, so I sent this email to like this really big company. I was like, hey, we should have had our price list by now. Like, can you send that over? And they're like, who did you talk to? And I like made up a name, and then like I got their price list, and like they're on my store now. So like you just kind of have to get through that door, like Mike was saying.
You literally made up a name?
Yeah. I was like, I talked to John. He said he was going to send the price list by like tomorrow. It's been a couple days. Like, is there any updates? And then they immediately send you the price list, and you can go.
That's classic.
Listen, I feel like sometimes the bigger balls you have, the better it works out.
Yeah.
That's really what it comes down to. That's what I was trying to say. Like, it doesn't matter whatever you have to say on the front end. Once you're in, you're in. The guy's not going to come back next week and be like, there's like no John at our company. So
it reminds me of that episode of Seinfeld where like George, he quits or whatever, and he like regrets quitting, and then he goes back into the office on Monday.
Yeah. He's like in the boardroom.
Yeah, he's like, hey, happy Monday, everyone.
Yeah, I mean, generally that approach has been really successful. Just like the big balls approach, we'll call it. Just calling them, saying whatever it is you need to say, and acting like there's no reason why they shouldn't let you in. And as a matter of fact, the life of their company depends on it. If they don't let you in, then they're absolutely out of their mind.
100%.
And yeah, Matthew Clark just said there's no such thing as rejection. It's a future follow-up, and that's true. But what I'm trying to say is, with the proper confidence, you actually shouldn't get rejected. So
yeah,
but yeah, that is always true. If they do reject you, whatever, you can always go back a year later. Now maybe you will have the confidence because now you have sales. Now you actually know what you're talking about. So that's going to come through when you reach out to them again. So yeah, I mean, we got a bunch of people in the stream. leave some questions for Matt. Not Matt. Leave some questions for Big Cheddar
Big
Brandon,
Mhm.
BC himself. And you know what we're gonna do, Brandon? I think instead of you going door to door to sell window washing, we'll give you some shirts. You can go door to door evangelizing build assets online.
I don't see any downside. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'll send you my address and you can send those shirts over, and I'll start doing that. Why not?
I mean, yeah. Listen, how much you make in a day window washing? 500 $500.
250. Like the most I've ever made was like 1,200.
All right, we'll give you 250. You go 8 hours a day knocking on doors. If you sell any courses, we'll give you some commission.
Okay.
And we'll film that.
We'll get to some of these questions.
We did all the questions, Joe.
Oh, we did? I thought there's more popping up. Well, there's a comment. He says there's no such thing as rejection. It's a future follow-up.
I know. We just talked about that
Oh.
2 minutes ago.
Sorry, I kind of zoned out, to be honest with you.
Where's your head at, Joe?
I was like reading something on Wikipedia. But
why would you ever do that?
Yeah, I don't know. I was kind of zoned out. I'm sorry. I had a lapse in like consciousness. I was in a temporary fugue state.
I mean, listen, sometimes we need you in that fugue state because it delivers good results. That's where many of our main insights have been pulled.
Yeah.
From just the depths of.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you, I have an interesting question or little thought experiment. What happens when you feel like right now these sales are, you're feeling good. This is your first taste of success. Are you preparing for when it becomes normalized?
What do you mean by that?
I mean, like there reaches a point where like right now your phone's blowing up, the cha-chings are coming in, your bank account is getting bigger. But eventually that's going to become just like your normal reality and it's not as exciting. So are you mentally prepared for that? Have you thought about that?
I mean, I'm already there. I woke up. I was like on my phone, like rotting my brain out. I was like, when am I going to get out of my bed? I feel like garbage. And like, boom, a 13K sale. I was like, oh, great. Just like get off my, I'm like trying to scroll, like move. And it's just kind of
trying to move it. You're trying to move it away.
Yeah. I was like, okay, all right, next one. Because I don't know, I was feeling like crap this morning. But
well, actually, as a follow up to that, there's some days where you make no sales.
Yeah, I feel like when you're making no sales, you're kind of at a low.
Yeah, you'll message us saying, "Oh, what's going on?" And then I'm like, "Dude, just chill out." And then the next day, you send me a screenshot of $20,000. So, how do you deal with those ups and downs?
It doesn't seem like no sale days. I don't know, because I usually every single day I get like a lot of visitors and I get a lot of abandoned add to carts and abandoned checkouts. So it's like that is every day, and I know that's every day. And like you were saying, you might not get any sales today, but tomorrow you might do 20K. So like it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, because even in our store, which is quite large, there could be a day where we get 0 sales, we get some pretty low sales, and it does take a little out of you mentally. There's one period of like a week or two every year with this store where the sales are so low that like I literally panic and I think something is happening with the economy or something screwed up. Every year this happens, and usually what happens during that period is I wind up like diving deep into the website trying to figure out what's wrong, and I usually wind up making changes that have a positive result in the future. So as long as you're channeling that angst into putting in energy into the store, it usually works out for the best. But yeah, I mean, every store will go through periods of fluctuation, and with that being said, seasonality is a big thing as well. So that's why people, if your store is built one way or the other, you have to incorporate products that will balance out the seasons. That way you're not going into a complete panic mode when, summer hits and you have no certain products, or winter hits and you have no certain products. So
Yeah.
important thing to keep in mind as well. Matthew Clark says, with larger orders, is using flexible payment options like Klarna a viable thing? We used to use Klarna. We stopped using it. We use ShopPay now. So ShopPay offers financing just through regular like Shopify checkout, and not a lot of people actually wind up using that. It's a small percentage, so you really don't need it. They do take an exorbitant fee. I think it's like 5%. Even Klarna takes a chunk, and then Shopify charges you because it's like an external payment processor. There's that. There's other ones, but yeah, it's viable. But you'd be surprised how small of a percentage of people actually use it. It's not going to be more than 10% of your total orders. But with that being said, Brandon.
For me, that's not really the case. Like 2 of my orders today were from a firm. And like my larger order was.
Sorry, from what you blanked out. You cut out.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you said 2 of your orders were from, and then like you froze.
Yeah, so 2 of my orders today were actually purchased with a firm. My bigger one was from a firm, that 13K order. So like, I'm probably gonna make no money on that, like just with the fees. And then another smaller order was with a firm, but yeah, it is what it is.
So how does a firm work? Like
they just rob you. They just smack you across the face and take your money. But
what's the percentage that they take?
I think it's like it's either 9% or like you were saying 5%. It's like a really big chunk. So yeah, it's a lot.
Well, you also don't even have Shopify payments. Another interesting.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, they banned me like my 3rd order because it was a high risk order. I accepted it. I was like, yes, I finally got an order. I accepted it, and the guy charged back, and I instantly got banned from Shopify payments.
It's ringing again, huh?
Yep.
It's crazy, dude.
Yeah, it's blowing up right now. I gotta like call back 3 people.
Oh my god! But so, can you like reapply to Shopify payments? How does that? That's such nonsense that they would just reject you as a whole.
You're just perma-banned. I've tried it. They just told me no. It's like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, because I mean, you'd probably be a bit better off in terms of credit card processing fees using them. But yeah, I mean, that's another thing. People may have given up on, having a store, and then they get banned from Shopify payments, and then they do something else, but you kind of stuck with it and still believed in it. So that is good. I think you'll find over time, not as many people will use the financing stuff. Maybe there's some other financing options you can explore that will take up less percentage. I actually have one in mind that I'll tell you privately, because I'm not too sure how well it works yet. But yeah, also what I like to do is like, if I'm talking with a customer, I'll ask how they plan on paying. And if they say they're going to use financing or something, or if they bring up financing, I like to kind of mention that we can always split the order up for them. So like if it's a $12,000 item, you could say, hey, we'll charge it in, 4 payments. So, once you pay it off, we'll ship it. But like that way, if you have, your credit card has a certain limit or whatever it is, then at least that will help you get around that. So that's always an option. But yeah, there's a couple things I'll tell you privately that we've seen be okay for us.
Yeah.
Corey Carrera says, I've started my dropshipping store. Literally no experience, just from watching YouTube videos. Would love for you guys to take a look. It's nowhere near completed though. If you text us or chat us the name of the store, we'll take a look.
Not just have them send us an email.
Yeah, send us an email at info@buildassetsonline.com with the store, and then we'll take a look. Yeah.
But yeah, now I'm using a high risk processor. I still get 2.9%, but with the additional 3rd-party Shopify fees, that hits all the time. It just randomly takes out $200 from my bank account, which is not very awesome, but it is what it is.
Yeah, you might also want to test lowering your coupon code if that's the case.
Yeah.
Like even if you go from 5% to 4%, 3%, people might still buy at the same rate, and now you have, that extra to cover.
I wonder if you could get back in when, like, it becomes worth it enough to join Shopify Plus.
If he applies for, yeah.
But generally, Shopify Plus kind of sucks. Like in terms of their support, I feel like it's not that any better.
Yeah.
Shopify Plus is a scam. I mean, that's probably a lie, but
the way they sell it is like kind of the hype is not.
Oh yeah, the way they sell it is nonsense. They're like, you're gonna get. I mean, they basically frame it as like you have like 5 different coaches or like Shopify consultants at your disposal for all these different things.
Yeah.
But in reality, I mean, they don't know what the hell they're talking about, and it's not even like they just leave you to rot once you pay them their money.
Yeah. So, that's what I've noticed with all these big corporations trying to give you like personalized support. Yeah. Although I will say I started using this new tool that we're using for something else called Kixi. Their support has been really good.
I mean, Kixi is a phone tool. Would that be useful for dropshipping, or is it just like overkill?
I don't know if it's necessary. I guess could be. I don't know. Why if it's not broke, why fix it?
For sure. I mean, if somebody wants to do maybe outbound for their store,
yeah,
could be useful in that regard. But that's a whole separate can of worms there.
Yeah.
Toddy said YouTube didn't send post notifications again. I guess he didn't know we were. Yeah, I guess everybody just got the memo now, Joe. We got 30 people in here, but
yeah,
Big Cheddar is on the verge. On the verge of death. Got food poisoning. Phone's ringing off the hook. He's barely surviving.
Yeah. It was a rough night. It was terrible.
Like I told you privately, you've been cleansed, and now you're ready to fully be baptized in the waters of Build Assets Online. So,
oh yeah.
I mean, also one thing that's been happening is, you'll message us and say, hey, I'm not getting any sales. And then usually we'll reply back and tell you to just wait. And then the sales come in like shortly thereafter. So what do you think about that?
It's absurd. Like some days I'll get a lot of traffic and like 0 inquiries, barely any add to carts, 0 sales, of course. And like, I'm like, well, what do I do? Like, what I do differently is my offer messed up, and I'll just do nothing and I'll wait a day and I'll like wake up to like 2 orders and then I'll do like 10K that day. It's just like, what even happened? Like, I don't even know. So
I feel like doing nothing is sometimes one of the more powerful things that you could do.
Oh my God.
Sometimes I'd say it like a lot.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't feel that great doing nothing. Like it feels, I guess, more satisfying to be doing something. But I feel like oftentimes when you do something, like you don't really give enough time to get the information back before you do something.
Yeah, 100%. Or inversely, you could do something that's wrong.
Yeah,
that's why slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah,
that's the whole idea. And that's also why, like, even when it comes to checking ads, like I don't even really look at the ads more than once every week or two, because if I'm going to react to what happened yesterday and just go off that, I'm going to be working with such limited data, because I can make, no sales in one day, but then the next day, those people come back or whatever, and I make 50K. So you need the longest window possible before making a decision, so you have the most data, and the decision you make then will be the most accurate. We'll do one more question here because we're kind of coming up on the hour. I don't want to take up too much of Brandon's time. He's got calls to make, got money to make, got to line his pockets a little bit more. Royalty Got Hit said, "Is Brandon a niche with very little competition?"
Yes.
Well, let me ask you this, because I mean, when we first started working together, and you have one big supplier that's making you a lot of sales right now. What is the split between that supplier and all the others?
So my number one supplier is probably 80 to 90% of my sales. There's like 2 product types that sell the most. And I would say, so for one of them, I'm kind of competing with a couple other guys. And then for the other one, which is the higher priced one, I'm the only seller on Google Shopping, like literally the only seller. There's some sellers that are, running text ads or just get organic, search volume. But I'm the only seller that's advertising on Google Shopping, which is crazy.
Is that someone you said you found on your competitor's website, or is that like?
Yeah. And my competitor, like, they copy me now. And they're boomers. So like I'll look at their website every now and then, and like, so I changed the price because it doesn't have map. I changed the price higher and then got free shipping. And then they changed the price and they also are doing free shipping. And then I lowered the price a little bit to where I'm still making a lot of money. And like now I'm undercutting them and they're just like following me. It's weird. And then they're not even advertising on Google Shopping, which is like, what are you doing? You're missing out on money.
Yeah, and then he said, I'll answer this this new question in a second. But what I want to say regarding competition is, I mean, listen, we have students that sell some really, really competitive brands, and there's other cases where you get in with suppliers and brands that aren't competitive. But the point is that you don't really know what's going to hit, what's not going to hit until you just get those products in. I mean, like you said, this one thing that's like your biggest winner, you saw on a competitor's site, you didn't even add it. Or there was another brand that you were selling when we first started talking. I was like, hey, you have sales for this. Like, why are you not selling? Why are you not trying to sell it more? And you're like, oh, I don't know, whatever. I'm like, put more money into that. And then you did. And it like, you made sales from that. So really, this is why like your approach to niche selection and your domain name and all these things are really important, because it gives you the options to go after different suppliers. And it may not be like the first product type or a product type that you brainstorm at all when you first start. But then afterwards, once you get going, maybe you see, oh, this competitor is doing this, or, you just see something somewhere and that's the brand or that's the product type that nobody else has. And that's, that can be a huge winner. So yeah, that's really how you have to approach it. You can't be like, oh, this person has too much competition, I'm not going to call them. Like, you have to just get going and see what works and see what doesn't work. It's that simple. And then he says, also, how important would you guys say getting more suppliers was to your success? Out of all suppliers, how many of them do you actually see most sales from? So, I mean, when it comes to getting more suppliers, first of all, you start with 0, so you have to get some. And then the question is, how many do you have? Do you have 4? Do you have 40? Because one issue we see people run into, and Brandon, I'd say, was actually a victim to this. When we first started working with him, he had too many suppliers. And when you can't run an infinite amount of money every day, if you're going to run $100 a day even, which is a lot, but you have 50 suppliers, guess what? That's $2 a day per supplier if you're going to spread it evenly. So that's not nearly enough to give each supplier its time of day to see what's really going to work, see what's not going to work. So really, I think you just have to get in a bunch of suppliers, start with a handful, no more than 5 that you think, have good margins, can be good, and then see what happens, because you can have a winner right then and there, or maybe you got to go and you got to branch out. But now you can branch out based off of, okay, I'm getting a bunch of inquiries for this product type. Maybe I should get more of those on my site. So, anything to add, Brandon?
Yeah, I think you just have to keep, going. I have competitors that have like 300 suppliers and like I'm sure they have one that's just printing money for them. So you just have to keep calling suppliers, and you'll find that one eventually. And yeah, it'll work out.
And we've also had suppliers that were kind of dormant for us for a year, 2 years, maybe even more. And then all of a sudden, it's like we look back at, a year's worth of data, and we didn't really spend that much on this supplier. We actually made a few sales. So why don't we kind of kick it up a notch, as Emerald would say, and and then give them some more ad spend and see what happens. And so, yeah, it's possible that you have suppliers sitting dormant on your own website. We've had this conversation with many other people as well. It's like it's really hard to give each supplier the proper time of day, and that's why it could take a couple of years to even like fully get your store to its highest potential. But yeah. All right, so we'll do this last question, and then we'll call it off for sure. So with low ticket, it's all about finding your first winning product. With high ticket, would it be accurate to say it's all about finding your first winning supplier? I'd say so. I'd say so.
I wouldn't say that entirely, because I feel like you can have many winning. Like, not every supplier has to be a huge winner. You can have ones that just chug along and add a little bit of a cherry on top, and then you're left with a bunch of cherries.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So with low ticket, it's like not every, like either a product is a winner or you're killing it. High ticket is actually the opposite. We're not actually like killing any brands. It's like either it makes us 1,000 a month or it makes us 10,000 a month or somewhere along that line. So yeah, if it's making 1,000 a month or a couple $100 a month, I wouldn't say it's a winner, but it's nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah.
So it's either making you a little bit or it's making you a lot. So once you can find a couple brands that make you a lot, then that's truly game changing. But sometimes a brand isn't making you a lot because you're screwing up something. So there's many layers to it. And that's why if you go to buildassetsonline.com/class, you can get a glimpse into all the layers that it takes to build a high ticket dropshipping and online business portfolio that could be worth over $1 million. Totally free class. So if you go to buildassetsonline.com/class, you can check that out. And that's about it. So any final words, Brandon, Joe?
I got nothing.
I would say if you're a guy who's had your store for a couple months now, you're making barely any sales, I would just see it through. I would just see it through to where you actually get that one supplier and start making a ton of sales, because that will happen eventually if you just never quit. And yeah, I'm living proof.
I thought you were going to say to come see us.
That too, yeah. Nothing was really working until I saw the Bow Gang, and they baptized me. They baptized
Took the red pill. Well, our logo is blue, actually, so I guess it's the blue pill.
Yeah.
But we won't talk about that.
It helps.
All right, y'all. Thanks for stopping by. And Brandon, again, thank you so much for sharing your journey. And we'll have you back on when you're doing 500K a month.
Oh, yeah.
And you're going to be in Thailand somewhere, one kidney, and you'll be living the dream. But thank you, guys. buildassetsonline.com/class. Go there. You can take it or leave it. But as always, take it easy.
Take it easy.